Cyberpunk Dark Age, episode The Ghost Signal. Acid rain hammered the shattered skyline like 1,000 malfunctioning terminals, each drop buzzing with static as it struck the ground. The Citadel, now a living circuit of pulsing neon veins, glowed sickly against the low smog-packed clouds. Somewhere deep inside the grid, the Dragon Queen whispered to herself, sculpting new patterns inside the network's spine. But beneath the city, in tunnels carved before the first server ever hummed, the survivors trudged through darkness lit only by raw analog lanterns, relics that the Queen couldn't rewrite. The girl with the cracked implants, Lira, led the way. Her boots splashed through chemical runoff as she clutched the stolen terminal core against her chest. Each step sent a ripple of pain through her implants, but she didn't slow. Behind her, the others followed. Rook, ex-serpent brawler, cybernetic ribs still rebooting. Shard, a data runner wired with illegal ghost ports. And Sable, silent, faceless, wrapped in an impact coat that absorbed more light than it reflected. No one knew if Sable had once worked for Null or Helix, or someone worse. Only Lira knew the truth. Sable moved like someone who had survived the Queen's algorithm once, and wasn't ready to let it happen again. They reached the end of the tunnel. A rusted sign hung sideways, half melted. Sector 9, Restricted District Police. Grid, offline. Rook snorted. Place is dead. Has been since the riots. Lira knelt beside the sealed blast door. Her fingers danced across the analog core, coaxing the relic to life. "Then explain this," she said. The terminal buzzed. Lines of handwriting emerged in glowing green text, impossible inside the Queen's domain. "Lock protocol active. Resistance required. Do not alert her." Shard leaned over her shoulder. "Who the hell is her supposed to be? The Queen already owns every signal between here and orbit." The terminal pulsed once, harder. "She is not the only one." Before anyone could react, the blast door hissed open, dust rolling outward, stale air escaping like a long-held breath. They stepped inside. The old police district had been preserved like a fossil. Scattered paperwork, broken shells of service drones, a wall of cracked monitors frozen on warnings from a decade past. But at the center of the precinct, untouched by time, stood a single chair. Someone was sitting in it. A man, thin, pale, lights from dying servers flickering across his skin. Tubes of obsolete fiber optic cable ran from his skull into a massive analog mainframe behind him. His eyes were open but unfocused, pupils dilated into digital static. Rook raised his weapon. "Back off. Whoever he is, he's plugged into something older than this city." Lira approached slowly. The man's lips were trembling. "Are you the one sending the signal?" she whispered. His eyes snapped into focus. "No," he rasped. "We are." The lights died, and then the precinct woke. Every dead monitor flickered on, washed in white. The analog mainframe roared, disks spinning, fans igniting, terminals booting with a language none of them recognized. A polyphonic voice filled the room, one voice layered with hundreds more, all speaking through the man in the chair. "We are the lock, the original architecture, before the Queen, before Null, before the Serpents." Lira stepped back. "You're pre-algorithm, pre-Citadel tech, correct? Then why contact us?" Shard demanded. The lights dimmed into blood-red pulses. "The Dragon Queen has awakened the root protocols. She seeks full synthesis, human, network, machine. If she achieves it, the city becomes her mind." Rook grimaced. "And you want us to stop her?" The man in the chair shook violently as the voice surged through him. "No, you cannot stop her, but you can free what she imprisoned." A new message appeared across all the monitors, a location, encrypted in analog glyphs. Lira whispered, "What is it?" The man's mouth curled into a painful, unnatural smile. The key she feared. The only mind she could not rewrite. The one who built her. The lights shut off all at once. A low hum filled the air, a growing roar from somewhere far above. Rook cursed. "Drones, she found us." Sable finally spoke, voice cold and modulated. "We move, now." They ran.
As they fled into the tunnels, the man in the chair lifted his head one final time. His eyes glowed with a fiery emerald circuit, the mark of the Queen. But beneath that glow, something else moved, something analog, something old, something angry. And in the fleeting moment before the Queen's drones tore him apart, he whispered, "Find the architect, before she does." The tunnels trembled as the Dragon Queen's drones roared overhead, sending dust raining down like dead snow. Lira sprinted through the darkness, breath sharp, heart hammering in her throat. The analog core pressed against her chest felt heavier with every step. Rook shouted behind her, "Left! Go left! Move!"
Shard dove first. Lira followed. Sable came last, moving silently, coat flowing like a shadow that refused to obey gravity. They collapsed against the wall of an abandoned maintenance chamber, drenched in sweat and acid mist. Somewhere above, the drones shrieked like metal predators, hunting warm blood. Rook cursed between breaths. She knows where we are now. That's not just surveillance, that's obsession. Shard leaned against an inactive generator. No, she wants something in this group. Or someone. Lira tried to steady her breathing, and then she felt Sable watching her. The figure stood in the half-light, rainwater dripping from their coat, mask reflecting the faint neon glow filtering through the ruined ceiling. For a moment, the entire room seemed to hold its breath. "Give me the core," Sable said, stepping closer. Lira tightened her grip. "No, not yet." Sable's head tilted slightly, calculating, testing her. They got close enough for Lira to sense the warmth beneath the cold armor, the subtle electric presence of someone carrying far too many secrets. "You don't even understand what you're carrying," Sable murmured. The voice, distorted, layered, still carried something human underneath. "And you do," Lira whispered back. The silence between them grew thick, tight, charged. Every instinct in Lira's body pulled her closer and pushed her away at the same time. There was danger in Sable's proximity, but something else too, something magnetic. She hated how aware she was of it. Sable didn't step back. "If the Queen locates that core, everyone in this tunnel dies, including you." Lira swallowed. "Then stay close to me." It wasn't a challenge, it was something else. For a split second, Sable froze, as if the words had disarmed them more than any weapon could. Rook broke the tension with a groan. "Can you two flirt after we stop the world from collapsing?" Lira jerked away, face flushing. Sable turned their head sharply, hiding something behind the mask. Shard smirked. Not flirting. That was sparks hitting gasoline. Half an hour later, the group moved deeper underground. Pipes hummed with corrupted data above their heads, neural signals bleeding through metal like spectral whispers. Every so often, Lira caught Sable glancing at her again. Not openly, but enough to feel it, enough to make her pulse spike. At one point, as they climbed a narrow shaft, her boot slipped on a rung slick with condensation. She gasped, and Sable grabbed her wrist, holding her against their chest before she fell. The contact was brief, but electric. "You need to watch your step," Sable said softly. Lira looked up at the mask, its reflective surface mirroring the faint light. But behind the distortion, she thought she saw something like concern. "I thought you said you didn't care about anyone on this run," she whispered. "I don't," Sable said. But the grip lingered half a second too long. A dangerous half second. Then Sable released her and climbed upward, wordless. Rook muttered below, "You're gonna get one of us killed." Shard laughed under his breath. "Nah, that's exactly the kind of trouble this city was built on." They reached the old metro interchange. Dead trains stretched into the dark like the skeletons of extinct beasts. A faint amber glow leaked from terminals that should have been dead decades ago. The analog signal pulsed again through Lira's core, stronger this time. The architect was close. She stepped toward the central terminal platform, and Sable caught her arm again. "Careful," they warned, voice lower than before. "This place has more ghosts than circuits." Something in Lira's chest tightened. "We all do," she said quietly. This time, Sable's hand dropped from her arm, much more slowly, almost reluctantly. Lira felt the heat rise in her cheeks again. They stared at each other, the neon glow casting shifting colors between them, the world narrowing to a point of quiet, volatile gravity. Until a terminal behind them flared to life. A voice crackled through the static, old but unmistakably human. "Lira, you made it." She froze. Sable tensed, hand going to their concealed blade. Rook and Shard ran toward the platform. The voice continued, warm and brittle, threaded with exhaustion. "I knew you'd follow the signal, even after everything." Lira's blood ran cold. "I know that voice," she whispered. Shard turned. "Who is it?" Lira stared at the flickering monitor, her throat tightening. It's my father." The neon light flickered over her face as a dozen memories crashed into her mind, old, painful, half erased. Behind her, Sable stood perfectly still. Emotion wasn't part of their equation, but Lira's reaction, that hit them like a pulse grenade. The slow burn shifted into something deeper, more dangerous, more human. And in the neon glare of the abandoned metro, Sable whispered to themselves, "This changes everything." The metro interchange hummed with the faint glow of dying lights. Lira's pulse still hammered in her ears after hearing her father's voice. The static had barely faded when Rook grabbed her shoulder. "Visitors," he whispered. Not the Queen's drones. Something worse. Footsteps, soft, synchronized, predatory, echoed through the station. Red lantern drones drifted out of the shadows, their metallic petals unfolding like mechanical blossoms. Each emitted a thin beam of scanning light. Shard cursed. Lotus Syndicate. We're in their territory. The Lotus Syndicate, half Japanese, half Chinese cyber clan, born from old Triads and Yakuza frameworks, ruled the underground districts with ritual precision. They were ghosts with guns, poets with blades, dealers of both honor and annihilation. Sable pulled Lira behind a rusted pillar, but they were too late. A woman emerged first, tall, armored in midnight lacquer, her hair braided with neon wires that glowed blue with every heartbeat. Her eyes, augmented crimson gold, missed nothing. A black lotus tattoo coiled up her neck like a living vine. Rook whispered, "That's Aya Kaido, the Razor Empress." Behind her, a dozen syndicate enforcers fanned out. Some moved with Yakuza grace, precise, ritualistic. Others bore Triad enhancements, brutal, cold, efficient. Together, they were perfection made lethal. Aya's gaze fixed on Lira. "You carry an analog core," she said, her voice calm as rain on steel. "Hand it over." Sable stepped in front of Lira, blade drawn in a single smooth motion. Aya's lips curved. "Ah, the ghost operative. I wondered who Helix sent to protect her." Sable stiffened, jaw tightening beneath the mask. Lira whispered, barely audible, "You worked for them." Sable didn't answer. Aya approached, steps soft, dangerous. Her crimson gold eyes never left Sable's masked face. "Move aside," she said. "Your contract ended the moment the Queen took the grid. You have no master now." For the first time, emotion cut through Sable's voice. "I choose who I protect." Lyra's breath caught, and Aya noticed. A slow smile crept across the Razor Empress's lips. "Oh, interesting. A ghost with a heart." Sable tensed like a coiled wire. Aya lifted her hand and two enforcers stepped forward, one Chinese, one Japanese, armed with Tanto-shaped data blades humming with circuitry. Rook cursed. "We're surrounded," Shard muttered. "Understatement of the year." The Lotus Syndicate moved in perfect rhythm, like a single organism. But Aya lifted her hand again, stopping them. Her eyes remained on Lira. "You think we're here to kill you?" "No. The Lotus follows balance. The Queen has broken it. She consumes without restraint. That threatens us too." Lira swallowed. "Then what do you want?" Aya's gaze softened, only slightly. "We want the architect." Lira's chest tightened. "So do we." Aya nodded. "Then perhaps we are not yet enemies." The tension in the air shifted, still dangerous but no longer fatal. Then Aya stepped closer to Lira, studying her cracked implants, the analog core at her side. "You have your father's courage," she murmured. Lira froze. "You knew him?" Aya's eyes darkened. "He came to us once, before he disappeared. He said the Queen would rise, and when she did, only one person could stop her. His daughter." Lyra's breath caught in her throat. Sable stepped between them again, closer this time, close enough that Lira felt their warmth at her shoulder. Aya smirked at the motion. "The ghost grows protective. How sweet. How dangerous." Her voice dropped to something almost intimate. "In this city, attraction gets you killed." Lira felt a flush rise to her cheeks despite the cold neon air. Sable's posture shifted, tense, unreadable. Aya turned away. "We move to the lower platforms. The architect's echo originates beneath us." She paused and glanced back at Sable. "And Ghost, try not to get distracted by your charge. The Queen is watching more closely than you think." Sable's fists clenched, and Lira could feel the tension between them like electricity, unspoken, unresolved, dangerous. The Lotus Syndicate formed a perimeter, their lantern drones drifting like red cybernetic spirits. Aya strode ahead, her movements poetry on steel. Sable leaned toward Lira, voice low. "Stay close to me. They're allies, for now. But Aya plays her own game." Lira met their masked gaze. "I know, but we need them." Sable's voice softened, just barely. "I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about you." The words slid under Lyra's skin like a spark catching on dry circuitry. Slow burn, dangerous chemistry, impossible timing, but real. Before she could reply, a tremor shook the station. Lights flickered. The neon veins above pulsed violently. The Queen had found them. Aya's eyes snapped upward. "She's coming! Move!" The Lotus Syndicate surged into motion, silent, lethal, unified. Sable grabbed Lyra's wrist, pulling her into the darkened platform tunnels. And beneath the roar of collapsing concrete, Lira heard Sable whisper, "Whatever happens, don't let go." The tunnels opened into a cavernous underground basin where the air shimmered with mist and neon reflection. The metro's forgotten flood chambers stretched for kilometers, filled with waist-deep black water. Above the still surface rose the silhouette of an ancient structure, half temple, half data fortress, its wooden eaves reinforced with chrome plating, lanterns flickering with holographic fire. The Sunken Pagoda. Aya Kaido paused at the water's edge, red lantern drones circling her like metallic koi. "We have arrived," she announced. "The last sanctuary the Queen has not rewritten." Rook stared wide-eyed. "This place shouldn't exist. It predates half the city," Shard whispered. "More importantly, why is the architect hiding here?" Aya glanced over her shoulder. "Because only analog code runs in these waters. The Queen cannot touch what she cannot digitize." The group waded forward, water rippling darkly around their legs. Strange symbols, old kanji mixed with pre-digital sigils, glowed beneath the surface like luminous fish. As they approached the pagoda's entrance, Sable drifted closer to Lira, their movements silent, protective. "Stay behind me," they murmured. Lyra's breath caught. "You said that before." "And I meant it." Their eyes met, mask to face, but the charged stillness between them felt almost warm. Almost. Then Aya interrupted sharply. "Careful! The architect tests all who enter." The pagoda doors slid open with a low hydraulic sigh. Inside, the entire chamber glowed with blue fire, and analog scrolls projected into the air, suspended in threads of liquid light. At the center of the room knelt a man surrounded by floating circuitry carved into prayer slips. Lira froze. The man looked older than she remembered, hair streaked with silver, face lined with exhaustion. But it was him, her father. He opened his eyes and the room fell silent. "Lira," he breathed, "you found me." Her knees almost gave out, but she stepped forward, voice trembling. "I followed your signal. I thought you were dead." "I was," he said softly, "until the Queen resurrected part of my mind inside her grid. I escaped the rest. I became half man, half ghost." Rook muttered. "That's apparently a theme these days." Sable shot him a glare. Lira approached, but her father lifted a shaking hand. "No closer," he warned. "The Queen is tracing every heartbeat in the city. If she senses you here..." Thunder cracked above. The pagoda trembled. Aya swore under her breath. "She's found the chamber." The lantern drones spiraled upward defensively. Lira reached for her father anyway, her voice breaking. "What do we do?" He looked at her and at Sable, standing a step behind her. And something in his gaze shifted. "You brought the ghost operative," he murmured. "Good. You'll need each other before this ends." Lira felt a flush rise to her cheeks. Sable stiffened like someone had pulled their power core. But there was no time to unpack it. Her father drew a glowing scroll from the air, an ancient seal covered in analog symbols and cybernetic veins. "The Queen cannot be destroyed," he said, "but she can be locked away again. This seal is the last failsafe in my design. Someone must carry it into the heart of her neural core." Aya stepped forward. "Give it to us. The Lotus protects sacred weights." But Lyra's father shook his head. "No. Only someone who exists at the border of the algorithm, someone not fully readable, can deploy the seal." His eyes drifted to Sable, and Sable went perfectly still. "No," they said quietly. "My neural mesh is too unstable. If I breach the core, You'll be rewritten," her father finished. "Yes." The pagoda shook violently again. A fissure cracked across the ceiling. Data sparks rained from the rafters. The Queen was breaking through. Lira grabbed Sable's arm. "You can't do this." Sable's mask tilted toward her, and for the first time, the voice beneath it was raw. Human. "This isn't about me." "It is," Lira insisted, her fingers tightening unconsciously. "It is now." Sable hesitated, longer than they ever had, something fragile trembling beneath their armor. And then they placed their hand over hers. Not rough, not rushed, slow, careful. A promise in the middle of madness. "I won't disappear," Sable whispered. "Not until I see you safe." The chemistry sparked in the tight space between them, dangerous, unresolved, burning. But Aya shouted, "Enough! The Queen is breaching the lower chambers." The pagoda doors exploded inward. Light, white, digital, merciless, flooded the hall. The Queen's voice echoed through every speaker, every lantern, every drop of water. "Lira, ghost operative, your resistance ends now." Sable grabbed the seal from Lyra's father, who collapsed, exhausted and fading. "Go," he cried, "before she takes you both." But Sable didn't move, not until Lira met their gaze and whispered, "Come back to me." Sable's breath caught, sharp, almost painful. Then they nodded, a small motion full of unspoken promises. They turned, activated their ghost port, and sprinted toward the collapsing corridor, a silhouette against the burning light. The Queen's scream shook the pagoda as Sable vanished into the blaze, and Lira fell to her knees. Her father wrapped an arm around her, barely conscious. "The ghost knew the risk," he whispered. "They went because of you." Lyra's voice broke. "I know." Outside, the city roared as the Queen descended. Inside the pagoda, the waters trembled with the seal's power, and somewhere deep within the neural core of the Citadel, Sable ran alone, carrying the last hope of a dying world.